Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean. The waves roll in, each one carrying with it a new possibility, a new way of thinking, a new way of being. And as you stand there, you begin to notice something fascinating. Each wave is different, yet they all come from the same source. They all carry the same potential, the same energy, the same life force. And just like those waves, your mind is capable of creating endless possibilities, endless ways of responding, endless ways of connecting with the world around you. Now as you stand there, feeling the sand beneath your feet, the breeze on your skin, you might begin to wonder, how can I tap into that same energy, that same potential, to create that kind of motivation that feels natural, effortless and deeply satisfying? How can I create a context, a frame, that allows me to connect with others in ways that feel authentic, meaningful and exciting? As you ponder this, you might begin to notice something else, that the key to creating motivation lies not in forcing it, not in pushing or pulling, but in allowing it to emerge naturally, like the waves from the ocean. It's about creating the right conditions, the right environment, the right frame of mind, so that motivation can flow effortlessly, like water finding its own level. So let's explore this idea together, shall we? Let's dive into the process of creating motivation, not as something you have to struggle to achieve, but as something that can emerge naturally, effortlessly, when you set the right context, when you create the right frame, when you tap into the right beliefs. At the core of motivation, there's certain beliefs about yourself, about others, about the world. And these beliefs, they shape how you see things, how you respond to things, how you create things. So let's start by exploring some of these beliefs, shall we? The belief in possibility. The belief that anything is possible, that you can create anything you want, that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. This belief opens the door to endless possibilities, endless opportunities, endless ways of being. The belief in connection. The belief that you're deeply connected to others, that you can create meaningful, authentic connections with the people around you. This belief allows you to tap into the energy of others, to draw on their strength, their passion, their desires, to create something greater than yourself. The belief in flow. The belief that life is a flow, that everything is constantly moving, changing, evolving. This belief allows you to let go of resistance, to go with the flow, to allow motivation to emerge naturally and effortlessly. The belief in value, the belief that you have value, that what you do has value, that what you create has value. This belief gives you the confidence to take action, to move forward, to create the kind of motivation that feels deeply satisfying. And the belief in curiosity, the belief that curiosity is a powerful force that can lead you to new discoveries, new insights, new ways of being. This belief allows you to explore, to experience, to play, to create a kind of motivation that feels exciting, engaging, and deeply fulfilling. Now we've explored some of these core beliefs that drive motivation. Let's dive into the process of creating it. And as we do, you might begin to notice how these beliefs, they shape the process, how they create context, the frame, that allows motivation to emerge naturally and effortlessly. The first step in creating motivation is setting the right context. This means creating an environment, a frame of mind, that allows motivation to flow. It's about creating a space where curiosity, connection, and possibility can thrive. And as you do this, you might begin to notice how the beliefs that we've just explored, beliefs in possibility, in connection, in flow, they begin to shape the context to create the conditions for motivation to emerge. The next step is to create the frame. This means setting the stage, so to speak, for motivation to take center stage. It's about creating a narrative, a story, that allows motivation to feel natural, effortless, and deeply satisfying. And as you do this, you might begin to notice how the belief in value and curiosity begins to shape the frame, to create the kind of motivation that feels exciting, engaging, and deeply fulfilling. The third step is tapping into desire. This means connecting with what you truly want. what truly excites you, what truly motivates you. It's about allowing yourself to feel the pull of your desires, to let them guide you, to let them shape your actions. As you do this, you might begin to notice how the belief in flow begins to shape your desires, to create the kind of motivation that feels natural, effortless, and deeply satisfying. And the final step is taking action. This means moving forward, taking the first step, and then the next, and then the next. It's about allowing yourself to be guided by your desires, by your beliefs, by your motivation. And as you do this, you might begin to notice how this belief in possibility begins to shape your actions, to create the kind of motivation that feels deeply satisfying, deeply fulfilling. Now we've explored this process of creating motivation. Let's dive into some of the techniques that can enhance it. And as we do, you might begin to notice how these techniques are deeply rooted in the beliefs that we've just explored, how they create the context, the frame, that allows the motivation to emerge naturally and effortlessly. Embedded commands. These are a powerful way to tap into the unconscious mind, to plant seeds of motivation that can grow and flourish over time. For example, you might say, as you begin to notice how easy it is to create motivation, you might find yourself feeling more and more excited, more and more engaged, more and more motivated. The nested loops. These are a way of creating a story within a story, a way of drawing the listener deeper and deeper into the narrative, into the experience of motivation. For example, you might begin telling a story about a time when you felt deeply motivated. And then within that story, you might tell another story about how that motivation led to a powerful outcome, and so on. The metaphors and analogies. These are a way of creating a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind, a way of making abstract concepts feel concrete, tangible, real. For example, you might say, motivation is like a river. It flows naturally, effortlessly, when you create the right conditions, when you set the right context. The double binds. These are a way of creating a sense of inevitability, a sense that no matter what choice is made, the outcome will be positive. For example, you might say, you can choose to take action now and feel the excitement of creating something new. Or you can choose to wait to feel the anticipation building, knowing that when you do take action, it'll be even more powerful. And sleight of mouth. This is a way of reframing, of shifting perspectives, of creating new ways of seeing things. For example, you might say, instead of thinking of motivation as something you've to struggle to achieve, you can think of it as something that emerges naturally, effortlessly, when you create the right conditions. And now, as we come to the end of our exploration, let's take a moment to reflect on the power of reframing. Reframing is a way of shifting perspectives, of creating new ways of seeing things, of opening up new possibilities. And as you begin to reframe your beliefs, your processes, your techniques, you might begin to notice how motivation begins to flow more naturally, more effortlessly, more powerfully. So as you stand there at the edge of the ocean, feeling the waves roll in, you might begin to notice how the beliefs, the processes, the techniques that we've just explored, they begin to shape your experiences, to create the kind of motivation that feels deeply satisfying, deeply fulfilling. And as you do, you might begin to notice how the waves of possibility, of connection, of flow, begin to carry you forward into a new way of being, a new way of creating, a new way of living. And as you take that first step, and then the next, and then the next, you might begin to notice how the motivation you created begins to grow, to expand, to flourish. And as it does, you might begin to notice how the world around you begins to change, to shift, to align with your desires, with your beliefs, with your motivation. And as you continue to move forward, you might begin to notice how the ways of possibility, of connection, of flow, begin to carry you forward into a new way of being, a new way of creating, a new way of living. And as you do, you might begin to notice how the motivation you created begins to grow, to expand, to flourish. And as it does, you might begin to notice how the world around you begins to change, to shift, to align with your desires, with your beliefs, with your motivation, as it all gets better and better.